What's up, everybody? This is Joe Adams, and welcome to the Relentless Pursuit podcast. As always, we got my man Logan Hyder of Cinema 83 LLC in the house, doing what he does. Y'all already know. My magical co-host and producer.
Couldn't do without your beautiful face.
Thanks, buddy. But today, we're bringing on the big man, Mr. Ryan Walters.
Let's fucking go. And then you gotta hit him with Joe's favorite.
That is my favorite one.
He loves that thing.
That's posing music.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I would do. I just posed it like that sound over on repeat.
Do a little spin.
Yeah.
That's great.
Last spread.
That
People
is
like,
so
holy
great.
shit, that's majestic. All right, man. So that's the intro. Briefly, just tell us
Thanks
what
for
you
clearing
do.
that up, by the way. I had no idea what was going on, so
I
it's
don't
a
know
good
why.
thing.
I don't know why.
It's a
I cleared
good thing
that
you said that.
up. So briefly, just tell us what it is that you do, and then we're going to take it back.
All right. Ryan Walters, IFBB Pro.
Okay.
I am a coach, trainer. I'm 7.5 weeks out from the Masters Olympia.
The
Hell yeah.
Masters Olympia.
212 class.
212
So tell people what that is a little bit for people that don't know.
The Masters Olympia is, the ruling is over 40.
Okay.
They first came out, it was over 45. Then I think marketing-wise, to get some bigger names, they dropped it to 40.
So you're just over 40, right?
I am 50 years old.
Really?
Crushing it.
Holy shit, son.
Monstrous.
That's really impressive.
Yeah. It's impressive as hell.
Been training for 27 years.
Wow.
23 to 50.
Nice. That's quite some time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, I think 27 years ago, I was, I don't know, a little ass
In
kid
elementary school?
Yeah.
But a coach, trainer, IFBB bodybuilder. But the story goes way back. Like, I didn't begin this to make it to the Olympia. I didn't begin this to be a pro bodybuilder.
Well, and that's where we're going to start. All right, sweet. So we know what you're doing. We know, obviously, the Olympia is a massive goal, and we're going to talk more about that. So take us back, Ryan. Take us back to as early as you want to. You know, I have people take us back to where they're from, their childhood, things that impacted them. Take us on this journey. Let the guests get to know who you are, and we'll just keep rolling with it.
I played sports through school. And I remember never give up. I have this tattoo on my forearm, never give up. And we'll get to, it was one of my rules when I taught high school, and we'll get there. But where it came from, my mom is the reason. I was in 6th grade, and I have bad allergies. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Boy in a Bubble by John Travolta. But he had to live. It was an after-school special. Sorry, I'm showing my age.
I do remember a movie called Bubble Boy, the comedy where he was in a bubble suit.
No, he was in a bubble because he had some kind of disease.
I think I
or
do know what you're
something.
talking about, but
God, who was it? I forget who it was.
I had terrible allergies growing up. That was
I still suffer from them.
By the way, real quick, just to roll you back just a slight bit more. Where are you from? Where did you grow up before 6th grade?
Hendersonville, Tennessee.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I graduated from Hendersonville, Tennessee. Went to college at MTSU.
Oh, nice.
But in 6th grade,
Same.
I got pneumonia because my allergies sent me into a sinus infection. The sinus infection sent me into pneumonia.
Yep. It'll
So
do.
I was about 2 or 3 weeks from football. I was a running back. And when I went back to practice after being out for 2 or 3 weeks, the coach gave me the ball during the play, and I was timid going through the hole. Like I was going to get hit. I was scared to get hit. I had never been scared to get hit. I've always been the smallest person on the team, but I was not afraid to get hit. And all of a sudden, I was so timid. And the coach was, didn't understand. Gave me the ball again, told me to run through the hole. I got to the hole, and
Is
Scrunched
this a
up.
practice?
Scrunched up.
just scrunched up.
Is this a practice?
Yes. And, man, that coach wore me out, grabbed my face mask, and because I was decent.
Yeah.
And that night, when we got home, I was still in my pads. And my mom said, out in the front yard. I said, what do you mean? She said, out in the front yard. I go out in the front yard. She says, get at the other end. I go to the other end. She says, run as fast as you can and hit me. I said, Mom, I can't do that. She said, no, you're going to run as fast as you can and hit me. I couldn't do it. I broke down. She said, we don't give up.
Damn.
Damn.
Some tough lessons from mama.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Damn.
So,
Hey, you don't see that.
No, definitely not.
Especially was your father around or?
I was about to ask.
my dad is the dreamer. He has played music all his life. He played bass guitar and was a singer. Played with some country music people, George Jones.
Okay.
It's a big name.
That was one of the names. There's been 3 or 4 other ones. The most recent one, or where he ended his career at, was Mel, the guy that stuttered. Oh man, I can't.
I don't know country that well.
Mel Tillis.
Mel Tillis.
Yeah, he used to stutter. He was in Cannonball Run movies, but when he sings, he doesn't stutter.
That's crazy.
And he'd sing country music, and he had a big theater out in Branson that had 2,000 or 3,000 seats, and he would sell it out twice a day. But going back, my dad was always traveling. He'd go to England for a month, come back, be gone for 2 weeks, come back.
Okay.
You know, so it was in and out, in and out. But strong relationship. My parents are still together.
Oh yeah.
Values. I mean, I had a strict upbringing. I didn't have a TV in my room. Rock music was the devil.
Rock music. Well, you and Joe wouldn't have made it in your household, that's for sure.
So
with the black metal.
I barely did.
Yeah.
So, but pretty strict.
Yeah.
But that's where the never give up, and I think that's where it all started of my climbing mountains.
Yeah, because that memory right there had an
man.
impact on you because you were obviously that was a little while ago.
Yeah, I was 12, 13.
So
I mean, it almost seems like you can just like see yourself going. I mean, I could see you almost being there whenever you're saying it.
Oh man, I can see it right now. I know the helmet I had on. I know the jersey I had on. I know how dark it was.
You were sick.
That's crazy.
Missed football, came back, were timid because you had missed time, and then all of this occurred.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how did
She taught me. I mean, I went back, but I only played another year, and I think I had played from 1st grade to 7th grade. I think I just started too early and got burnt out.
I started when I was 5 playing football.
Yeah, I started pretty young.
You know?
Yeah.
I played basketball and soccer also, so I was with 3 sports. Once I got to 10th grade, my height caught up with me. I loved basketball. You know, I was a point guard scoring 20 points.
Okay.
But when I got to the 10th grade...
Is that the guy that like kicks it in the goal?
Joe's not
I'm just kidding. No, if you follow the podcast like me in sports, it's just funny.
He calls it sports ball. He has no idea what it is.
I know what a point guard is. Yeah. You know, my woman, she was a basketball player, so she schools me on it.
Oh,
sometimes.
what, was she? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Well,
that.
it is tall for a female.
She
She's
is tall
5'9".
for a female, yeah. Yeah.
Got
But
the
yeah,
height genes.
point guard's your ball handler.
My girlfriend is 5'8".
There you go. What's up, honey? That's funny.
So your height caught up to you?
I caught up to you.
So you couldn't
Height
play
caught
basketball?
up to me at 10th grade, and then I found out what alcohol was.
It's always a good discovery.
Good stuff.
So I really love sports, but when I got there and my height started, you know, I was 5'5", going up against people that were 6 foot point guards.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck.
I was quick. I could play defense, but come shooting, I mean, they were blocking my shots.
I was about to say, when you go into the lane or something, you got the 6 foot point guard is one thing, but the 6'4" center that's in the middle, you know, you go up for a layup, you can't do really anything.
Now,
like
I
that.
can jump. I can touch the rim.
Yeah.
Actually, I could touch the
Damn.
rim up until last year.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
That's athletic
That's
as fuck.
And
I don't even know if I could touch the rim.
I did not know that. I was at a client's house, and he was 14, and he has a gym at his house, and he wanted to go out and play ball for cardio. So I said, all right. We walked out there, and all of a sudden I just jumped up and grabbed the rim. I didn't know if I could or not.
Boom.
That's crazy athletic.
That kid
Still
lost,
got it.
That kid lost 60 pounds in 9 months. He used to be able to jump an inch off the ground. Now he starts for the basketball team.
That's awesome.
And it all started with him seeing you fly through the air.
Yeah.
It was like, holy shit.
I don't think it was that, but I mean, I'm just a 14-year-old dropping 60 pounds, 90 pounds.
That's awesome.
It was crazy.
That's hard because, you know, I've trained some younger people, and like to get them to be, like hold that discipline is difficult,
Yeah,
especially
man.
that age. I mean, fuck, I'm training grown ass people, and like to get them to do that,
No doubt.
it's just as tough. So that's really cool.
He was a different breed, though. He asked his mom for the trainer. He needed change. He wanted change.
Yeah.
And he was he's a different kid.
That's good.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So basketball was no longer an option.
Basketball was no longer an option. I found out what partying and alcohol and girls were, and I started working. I actually worked at Little Caesars for 3 years, 10th, 11th, and 12th. But I started partying, man.
Yeah.
Like every weekend.
Were you into school much, like academically?
If I could not study and make C's.
Yeah, hear you on that.
So
That's what
I got bored. I used to do my work in 5 minutes and then sleep the rest of the time.
Yeah.
I've told people, and it's like it sounds like I'm bragging. I'm just saying a fact. Like I've never done homework before. I never, like in high school and stuff. Like I never did homework. When we had projects, it was the night before. Tests, I never studied one time for a test in my whole life. And Mount Juliet won academic awards while I was there. You know, for being the best public school in the state. And it's like I didn't have to study. I didn't do anything. So graduated with honors. Took the ACT when I was in 7th grade. Like was always an honor shit. And then you go to college, and it's like, well, now it doesn't matter how smart you are. You know, you better learn how to study. You better learn, and it did not go well.
Yes, and I found that out too.
So that's my little quick aside on that.
I found that out too. But I could not study and make C's. If I would have, I could have made A's.
Had you applied yourself?
If I had applied myself, I mean, as a teacher, I hate to say,
Yeah.
it didn't interest me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's
PE
relatable.
did.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You know?
Hell yeah.
And the social aspect, you know, friendships and whatever.
And then alcohol and girls. And
Yeah, then that.
That was a big
you know,
part of my
what's
high school.
Friday and Saturday night?
Yeah.
And then my senior year, it started right after school. You know, I'd be at the beer store at 3 o'clock in the afternoon right after school.
Yeah.
I made it to college, MTSU. Was in a fraternity. Not that fraternities are bad. I had good relationships with that, but I took it to another level, to the party level. And at the end of my college, I was drinking 5 out of 7 nights. I don't know that I was an alcoholic because I didn't shake, or when I didn't drink, it wasn't, I didn't.
Like you weren't having bad withdrawals or anything.
No.
Yeah.
You were just hooked on partying.
Yeah, I think so.
That
I think
party
I was
lifestyle.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of that, I experienced a lot of that in the military, you know.
Yeah,
where
man.
you get off work out and drink or whatever, you know.
Oh, I need to back up. I didn't start working out till I was 23. I didn't work out all through
None of those
sports, nothing. And I always had high school friends that played football, and that worked out. That said, Ryan, you've got to train, man. Because
Yeah.
I was.
You had the frame?
I was a little. I had the frame. I was little. I graduated at 135, but I was stocky.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how stocky you can be at 135, but I was. but I mean, I had friends that would tell me, "You need to train. You need to work out." And I'm like, "I got beer to drink, man."
Yeah.
Trying to party, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I had the aha moment, I was up to 5 out of 7 nights, and it was probably 2 bottles or a case of beer.
When you would drink, it would be that much.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
And I could stay up till 7, 8 in the morning. I didn't fight or get sick or anything, so people would call me, and you got to go with us. No, I don't have any money. We got you. We need you. I was the party guy.
Yeah.
I would jump up on a table if the party was dying. I'd jump up on the table, start singing, and
So it was like Animal House.
yes.
That movie was from your time, right?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know how many times I watched that movie.
Yeah, I bet. So was that the only thing you were doing? Was alcohol?
Yes. The drugs never really.
appealed to you?
appealed to me. They were around,
That was a problem with me.
I was gonna say fraternity life.
They were around.
Yeah, I was there for a little bit too.
but it just never. I don't know. I guess control is a thing for me. I know what the next drink will do,
Right.
but if I take something, and like mushrooms or ecstasy or anything like that,
Coke is usually a big thing in fraternities.
I don't know if you don't like the ride. Too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
you're in it then.
Yeah.
That's my thing about psychedelics too, dude. It's the exact same
Right,
thing.
man.
I'm like, I don't know.
I'm a mushroom guy. I believe
Okay,
in.
okay.
I've talked about it on the podcast a lot. I believe in mushrooms, but also like as a tool. You know, it's a spiritual thing for me. So I could dive into that another time.
I get it, man.
Yeah. But doing it to party, that's not my thing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's odd to me. Like, especially around a lot of strangers and stuff. You never know what the hell's going to happen.
Right,
Where
right.
that'll take you. So. Yeah.
So I just want to ask you real quick before we get too far in the story,
Yeah.
because I want to hear the aha moment for sure. But just trying to get into your psychology a little bit, I guess. So where do you think that came from? Like with the party with dying, and you would jump up, or being that like, where do you think that guy
my
came
parents
from?
didn't drink. My parents didn't cuss. I've never heard
they
my dad
religious?
say a cuss word. Yeah,
They were
very religious.
Very religious.
You know, it wasn't in my house, so I don't know what the gravitation of me. I don't
That's
think
probably
it's
because it was never in your house.
You know, beer doesn't taste good to me.
I think it was, a lot of times I hear stories like this, but maybe for lack of better terms, like maybe you were sheltered a little bit.
Maybe.
And then you got this high or this buzz and it was just like, this feels
Broke
good.
out.
This is fun. Yeah. So you hear about that all the time. I mean, people, they're raised in a pretty strict household and then they get let loose and they're just
100%.
like,
But I still always tried to keep it from my parents. Always.
yeah.
That was always in the back of my mind.
Yeah. You didn't want to disappoint
No,
them.
I
Yeah.
did not. No. And I had a younger brother and younger sister. My brother is 8 years younger than me, and my sister is 11 years younger than me.
Oh, okay.
It's a big gap.
So now I also had to take care of them when mom was at work and dad was in another country. So that was pretty big for me at high school, driving them around, taking them to school, picking them up, keeping them till my mom got home.
Yeah.
But as soon as my mom got home, I was gone, man, to the beer store or wherever.
Yeah.
What did you say your dad did?
He played bass and sang in
Oh, that's
country
right.
music.
That's right. So he was traveling because of music. Gotcha.
Yeah. Now I was always into skateboarding and BMX. That was a huge thing. That was an individual thing for me. And I think that's where bodybuilding came from a little bit, an individual thing. Everything relies on me, how much work I put in,
Yeah.
how much I get out. So in college, the aha moment. I woke up and I still have this picture, and I've posted it on Instagram before. I woke up and looked in the mirror, and I didn't know anything to change other than what I was looking at. I didn't know how to change anything but what I was looking at. I'm going to start here. I don't like the way I look. I certainly don't like the way I feel and what things are going on around me because everybody was graduating. My girlfriend at the time was fixing to graduate. We'd been dating for about 5 years. And I looked in the mirror and I said, today's the day. And my girlfriend said, yeah, you're still hammered. Stop, just come back to bed. I said, no, I'll be back. I went to Sears. There's another date of me. I went to Sears up here in Murfreesboro and bought a weight set and put it in my apartment. All my fraternity brothers started laughing. I lived across the street from 3 fraternity houses and 2 liquor stores and no Charlies.
Had everything you need right there.
I lived with 8 fraternity brothers.
You lived in the house?
We lived across the street from the fraternity house.
Gotcha.
So when we had keg parties, where did the keg go? In our yard.
Yep.
Because you couldn't have it in the fraternity yard.
What
Yeah.
fraternity were you in, by the way?
KA, Kappa Alpha.
Gotcha. I was in Lambda Chi.
So I looked in the mirror and I said, take a picture. So she took a picture and I left. And I bought the weight set. And I read, there was no internet. There was no coaches.
Yeah.
So all there was magazines that are marketing based that I didn't know. And books. So I read everything I could get my hands on of how to change. I lost 30 pounds that summer on my own. And when people came back in the fall to college, they had to ask who I was.
Yeah. That's cool,
That's
though.
pretty powerful.
I bet that felt good.
Oh, man.
I did, not to get off track, but your story reminds me a lot of mine and having that aha moment.
I was thinking about that too when he was talking about standing in the mirror.
Yeah, because, my thing when I was in college, I went to college, out of high school, and I was pills, so I popped a lot of pills, and I was, snorting handfuls of them a day, scrounging for change just to buy some more Xanax or whatever. And the end of that year, I was failing classes and all this shit, and it's the same thing, dude. I woke up, I went into the dorm bathrooms, and I just had my shirt off, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I was just like, I fucking hate this person. And, I always talk about just leaving that person in the mirror there and walking away from them.
Absolutely.
Next thing you know, I'm in an Air Force recruiter's office, and I got to change my life. But yeah, so that's extremely relatable. And I'm, you got to be grateful for those moments because a lot of people never have that aha.
Yes, man.
And they just keep riding it.
Yes.
So I'm grateful that I just, one day it just hit me. It's like I was sick of it, But,
Yep.
So-
Yes,
so
that was the moment.
Did your whole thing change at that point? Like
Yes, man. Everybody was leaving, and I was feeling like I was going to get left behind. And I'll just be honest, I felt like Loserville.
Yeah.
So were you not going to graduate on time?
No.
Gotcha.
Everybody was just going. I was making C's and D's, barely staying in. And I would drop classes. When I dropped that 30 pounds that next semester, A's and B's. Oh, this is what happens when you go to class.
Did you cut the drinking out?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I lost friends.
I bet you did.
Of course you did.
I bet you did.
Ryan, what?
How'd the fraternity respond to that? All of those changes? Not well.
Not well. I still have some. Some understood. But a lot of them, man. If I had a big chest day on Friday, I'm not going out Thursday night. That's how I prioritize things, man. It became more important to me.
That's cool.
I can already hear the guy like.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I can just hear it.
You think you swole?
Dude, you can't go out tonight because you got to fucking work out tomorrow? What are you talking about?
workout.
Yeah. I can hear him.
Who's calling me now?
Yeah, right.
Hey, I'm middle-aged. I need to get this off. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Should have started when I did, buddy.
That's cool though, man. It's funny how you do lose people,
man.
But you're going to lose people when you're progressing in a
Yeah.
positive direction. That's just the nature of it, and that's a good thing. So it's harder to see it then, but you stuck to it, obviously.
Yeah, what I've been saying a lot lately is like whenever you draw boundaries or, draw a barrier line in the sand, for whatever reason, it's not that you're making like enemies of other people, but you're going to naturally have a contrast to people on the other side of that line, right? So like for you, the priority and what was important became lifting and being healthy. And it's not that you had anything against these guys, but once you drew that line, they naturally became on the other side of it, and it just is what it is.
Yeah, let me say, you want to drink, man.
Yeah.
I don't. I still have a couple of drinks every once in a while.
Yeah.
But getting hammered on the regular, that doesn't fit in my life.
How much better did you feel when you stopped drinking? Like
Physically, once I dropped that weight and stopped drinking so much, I still, once a week, once every other week, I still was partying a little bit. I just didn't go.
You need that social aspect of it.
Yeah.
But you had self-control at this point.
It was hard for me with the social thing because I had learned to go social under the influence. Like up until recently, I'd never been to Nashville sober. Downtown.
Yeah.
Because, why go downtown?
Get drunk.
I mean, that's how I related it.
Of course.
Back then. Back in high school, back in college, the only reason we went to Nashville was to drink. It wasn't to eat a dinner.
Yeah.
Well, we may have ate dinner, but there was drinks before.
Drinks and before and after.
Yeah. So I felt, 100% better. Just clarity.
I was about to say the context that I was saying that from is just like, it's crazy. Like when you drink a few days in a row and then like the second or third day that you don't drink, you wake up in the morning and you just feel good. You just feel, it's like, wow, I just don't feel like shit anymore. Look at that.
The hangovers, man.
Dude, it's just not worth it. It gets to the point it's just not worth it.
I tell you what, I rarely drink. Like I red wine's my thing. I don't drink beer or liquor. And We'd have a couple glasses here and there, you know. But like every month or every other month, like I get together with my brothers, you know, for a ritual weekend. And, you know, but this midsummer event we had a couple weeks ago, that was the first time in, you know, several months. You know, I had the baby and everything. And of course, I'm with my brothers out in the woods. Like, one, no harm to be done. You're not out. You know, you don't got to worry about getting arrested or anything like that. Right. So I always cut loose with them because that's just the time. Like we're all very consistent. We're fucking plugging away at life, you know, reaching goals. Like we stay on the grind always. I mean, that's standard. But when we get together for moot, it's, you know, we let loose a little bit. Yeah, so I drink a little bit more wine. I enjoy some cigarettes, you know.
Yeah.
I like that balance though, because I get it out then, but it's always funny because Monday and Tuesday comes around after that and I'm just like,
oh yeah, that's why I don't like doing this at all. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I enjoy it in those aspects. It's a special time for me and it's all very important. But yeah, just doing that, I don't know, man, the clarity I have, like even now, like just in the past, I mean, obviously Lydia was pregnant, but then since then, we just like don't really care to drink much at all.
It's not a priority.
Like life's good without it. Like we have a good time and we're pretty chill. So as always, this episode is brought to you by Relentless Pursuit. Check us out at relentlesspursuitlifestyle.com. Check out our gear and everything we got going on, training, podcasts, you know, links and all that stuff. Obviously you're here, so you know where the podcast is at, so you don't need that. But anyways, also check us out on Instagram at relentless_pursuit. Also at relentlesspursuit_HQ on Instagram, and check out our RP Patreon. So basically that is an exclusive platform where we bring exclusive episodes to you guys. It's subscription based. So we bring exclusive episodes. We have Saturday Q&A, Cup of Joe with Joe. We're going to be doing exclusive merchandise and stuff like that. So check that out at patreon.com/The Relentless Pursuit Podcast and show us your support. And I'll be passing on to you.
You can find me at Instagram, UvsU _IFBB Pro, or on Facebook, Ryan Walters. If you need any coaching or nutrition, competitive transformation, if you just want to change, let me know.
It's an editing thing I have to do.
Oh, okay. He just like has a tick where he thinks there's bugs everywhere. And he just walks around clapping. I'm like, Logan, it's okay. There's no gnats.
It's funny because every time I do that, he's like,
yeah, usually he just does it now. And like we used to just be like, all right, he'd be like, everybody just do a clap. And now he just does it, and people are like, what the hell is he doing?
But then there was like 3 different clap, like people would not clap at the same time, and I was like, I'm just gonna.
Does that help you on the video editing?
Yeah, so it basically gives me like a spike.
Gotcha.
So I can track where we're at.
Yeah. Tricks of the trade.
Tricks of the trade. You ever seen like behind the scenes of a movie when they do the? That's what that's for.
Gotcha.
It's for lining up the audio. Is your thing on?
Oh yeah. Thanks for the reminder.
Yes, sir. All right. So where were we? We were talking about.
So he had just
the aha moment.
Yes, the aha moment.
The aha moment, and then
we had just gotten to
moving forward and just like
dropped 30 pounds. I didn't go past that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Okay, you're good. You said you got A's and B's that semester.
Yeah. So that semester after I found weights or found training. I went from CD student to AB student, and then my girlfriend at the time graduated. So we actually moved, and I started commuting to college. I got a full-time job with the state. I was about a year out from graduating. But the state used to pay for 1 class per semester, and so that's what I did. To finish up my last year, it took me 3 or 4 years.
You would do it just because that's what they would pay for?
Yeah,
You'd take the one?
The state was paying for 1 class per semester. So I only took 3 classes a year. Wow. Fall, spring, summer.
Wow.
So you were just training, working, and
What were you going to school for, by the way?
Then it was a bachelor's in criminal justice, minor in psychology, sociology.
Whoa. Big guy stuff. That's...
So...
where did that come from?
I wanted to work with juveniles, and that will come into play when I talk about teaching.
Gotcha.
So I was too far in by the time that I found working out and fitness, or I would have changed. I would have loved to have been a PE teacher.
Yeah.
I would have loved it, but I was too far in to change. So I just went ahead and finished up with the criminal justice and the psychology, sociology. Got a job with the state. Started working with the state. I started managing property. Nothing I was interested in. Mm-hmm. It was just a job. Okay. Got married. Still working for the state. Still training. Had no. When I started losing weight, it wasn't to compete. It wasn't to turn pro. It wasn't none of that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to change. And then as I started changing myself, things started changing around me. More positivity. And I just held on to the weight room, man. It seems like any problems I have, the weight room is there. It's there. Therapy, I don't know. It's my thing, man. It's my hour. It's my meditation. I don't know how you meditate in the gym, but it's my hour.
I like to call it ritual.
Yeah, man. Okay.
I like to look at the going to the gym. It's ritualistic to me.
Yeah.
And it's a holy act in a way because
Right.
the same thing, man. Like I always got to get it done.
I go through a ritual. You know, I have a pre-workout, an intro, a post-workout. I have meals surrounding it, timing. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, man. But had a child at 27. A year prior to that, that's when I got hit with the bodybuilding bug. I just wanted to compete. You know, I had been looking at all these fitness magazines and men's fitness, guys with abs and chest. And then I got that. And then I saw Flex magazine, Muscular Development magazine, where these guys were just jacked.
Like you thought you were like, oh, I did it already.
And I was like, I want that. That's what I'm going to go for. So that was about competitive bodybuilding, and I think that's where it came from. I said I just want to do it once. I was doing everything around it except stepping on stage. Well, I did it once and I won. Whoops.
That bug definitely got you in, didn't it?
Whoopsie.
Shit, I want to win again.
So I want to ask you real quick before you get too deep on the bodybuilding, just for a little context. So whenever you lost the weight, what did you get up to?
I was only maybe 180, but I had a 36 or 38 inch waist. I could rest a beer can right here with no hands.
Gotcha.
Even the fraternity used to lift the shirt up, show the baby, because I'd look like I was 6 months pregnant, 9 months pregnant.
So you lost 30 pounds to down around 150.
Yeah, I probably went from 180 to 150. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then when you competed for the first time, what was your weight then?
I was 144 pounds on stage.
Gotcha.
I was the lightest person in the contest, but I still won my class.
Nice. How tall are you?
5'5".
Okay.
The doctor says I'm supposed to be 150. I'm
Yeah.
215 right now. The most I've ever weighed is 232, and I could only keep that for a month.
232, up from 150, the original transformation. That's nuts.
It's wild how much height plays a difference. I mean, because I stay around 225, you know, so you're not off far from me, but that's like my healthy maintenance weight. That's where I feel good, you know? So it's just wild that.
With the different frames, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
When I'm done competing, which is soon, I think I'll go down to 190, 180.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't need to carry this around at 50. Especially if I'm not competing.
Yeah.
So I know I will downsize.
It's a lot for longevity.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I kind of cut you out there. You won.
No, it's okay.
You won your first thing.
Yeah, I won my first thing, and I just got kind of bit by the competitive thing. Again, wasn't to turn pro. Wasn't to even do this as a career yet. But as I competed more and more. But I left the state. Let me see where I want to. I need purpose. The working for the state had no purpose.
What were you doing for the state?
I was managing property.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You said that. I'm sorry.
You know, I don't care why a light bulb doesn't come on. or an HVAC doesn't work. I mean, I had people that did that. I was the delegator, but it still just it didn't concern me.
Yeah, it didn't fulfill you.
Oh, no.
How did the criminal justice degree end up with that, like doing that?
My uncle-in-law got me the job
Gotcha.
for the state. Seriously.
Like 75% of people
Straight out of college.
Yeah, don't go into their degree field, which is crazy. But anyways.
But after I was like, there's no purpose with this. So that's when I started teaching high school. Because remember, I wanted to work with juveniles, with the criminal justice. And I thought, well, that's close enough. So I started back then, as long as you had any degree, you could teach special ed, but you had to pursue the master's and you had to complete it within 3 years. So I got the job teaching special ed algebra. And I went back and got my master's at Cumberland in Lebanon. And I have a master's in education with certification in special ed K through 12.
That's awesome.
So I thought that there's purpose.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool.
And so I taught high school for about 9-10 years. And there's definitely some ups and downs, but I always had a good relationship with the kids, man. They related with me. I related with them, man. I didn't talk down to them unless need be. They're a human being, and I talked to them.
Yeah. I
was going to ask you that about the special ed, right? Did you have prior experience with that kind of situation?
No, none.
So that was totally new.
I hadn't even had experience teaching. Right. I just walked into a classroom. I hadn't even had a college course yet.
That's what I'm trying to think, like picturing like you got this job and not only are you a teacher, which is a difficult enough job, anyway, a high school teacher, you've never done that before, but also you get stuck in this like difficult, I guess, difficult situation.
Yes, they just opened up the door. Seriously. The principal opened up the door and said, "Here's your classroom." I turned around. He's gone. I didn't even know what books.
Good luck.
Nothing, man.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So what was that not having experience like that? And then
it was rough, man. I thought, what have I done? What have I done?
Yeah.
But after just like training, man, you're not always going to grow exactly the way you think you're going to grow. You just got to keep grinding, man.
Yeah.
And if you believe, never give up. Just using all that. And after a year, it was kind of came automatic. And
how were you able to connect with them?
Knowing I'm not perfect. Yeah. And I didn't expect them to be either.
Yeah. You had a different reasoning for doing it. I had flirted with the idea of teaching years ago. Just because, purely from the aspect of mentorship and having, a positive influence on kids, right? Because like what better time than in high school to like be someone that they look up to, that they can and lead by example, right? And maybe have an impact on their life after that. It's crucial years. So yeah, that's cool.
Did you teach all the high school grades?
9th through 12th. And I taught algebra I taught life with algebra mixed in. Like, I guess nobody uses a checkbook anymore, but I would teach that, right? I would teach budgeting skills. How much apartment costs, what comes with an apartment. Basically setting them up for not failure. Yeah. Trying to get them some kind of information out there before they go out there, because I'm not there.
What in God's name is that?
Oh. It's the fridge. It does a weird noise sometimes.
Okay, so I was like, what is happening? So were all your classes special ed?
Yes, yeah.
Gotcha. So it's just interesting. I sound ignorant when I'm saying
it's okay.
When I'm saying this, but like it's just interesting to hear you talk about your students and like what you were teaching them, because that's stuff that needs to be taught to like quote unquote like normal.
Absolutely.
Everyone, normal kids. Like
absolutely.
For you to put that level of thought into that situation, is interesting. Like it's really.
Well, I just thought those things were getting lost. And I had a couple banks that would donate checkbooks to me and supplies. And I would, I would use my own money. I would motivate my class. Yeah. They used to have to take this test. It's called the Gateway, and they It was in 3 subjects: science, English, and math. My kids would always, I was told this, your kids will always pass the English and the science, and they will fail the math. Oh, no. You just gave me a challenge. So I did everything in my power for them because they needed they needed to pass those 3 tests for a regular ed diploma. One day, one moment in time, one test.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Doesn't matter if you passed all 12 years of your school, you still needed to pass that test. So the month prior to that test, there's nothing I would do except test taking skills. I would show them on a multiple choice test how to plug in the answer to get the right answer. They were like, "You're teaching us to cheat." Nope. I'm teaching you test taking skills, 100%. And anybody can do this.
Deduction is a huge part of test taking.
Yes.
You know, just eliminating the wrong answers and like things like that.
It was already unfair. They were already behind the 8 ball.
Mm-hmm. What kind of, also, and I know I sound ignorant again, but what kind of special, like, needs?
Learning disabilities. Okay. Just not mobile or it was learning disabilities. And those kids that were in my class, they may only had that one special ed class. Maybe they were only deficient in math and then regular ed on everything else.
Well, then my ass needed special ed hours, bro, for sure, because I always terrible at math.
To be honest, I was picturing like autistic.
No, I
kids
get
and,
it.
like, that.
I had some autistic kids, but they were higher functioning.
Gotcha.
A slower pace. Like a lesson, I may teach a lesson over 3 to 5 days, where a regular class may teach the lesson in 1 day. Mm-hmm. So it was the same test too. Okay. Same gateway test.
Yeah.
That the regular ed kids had to take. So it was a competitive thing for me. All right. They say that my kids are going to fail. Game on. You know, like I had 1 of 12, 11 passed. The 12th one, he missed it by 1 question. But I had to call him and tell him he wasn't graduating.
That sucks.
He took a class 2 weeks later and during summer school. Took a class for 2 weeks and then passed it that time. Yeah. So that was good, but still making that phone call that you're not walking with your.
Yeah. It's a bummer.
And I used to do things like, especially that class, I was like, hey, everybody that passes, I'm taking to O'Charlie's.
Not the one next to the fraternity house, though, right?
Yeah, not that one. This was in, let's see, I was teaching at Station Camp High School then.
Gotcha.
That's in Hendersonville, Sumner County.
Yeah.
Damn.
Very familiar.
Right.
So yeah, go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, so, you know, you're teaching these classes, right? You're still bodybuilding.
Still bodybuilding.
You're competing at the same time.
Still competing.
So what's...
bridge
those two.
Man, the first year that I taught, when that principal gave me that classroom, I was also 4 months out from my first national level contest. It was 2005. And I was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, doing an hour of cardio, then teaching at something that I had never taught before. Then I was weight training. Then I was doing more cardio. Then I had a wife and a child at home. Challenge. Well, I mean, what's important to you?
Yeah.
You know, what's the purpose? I mean, if it's really important to you, you're going to go to the, you know.
Do whatever it takes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I just, I wanted to be my best. I wasn't out to be the best. I just wanted to be my best. And that's all I could take to that stage. Mm-hmm. You know, people, I rarely looked at my competitors that were coming, because once I step on that stage, I'm pretty much out of control. Meaning, I don't control the lighting. I don't control my number. I don't control where I'm placed on stage, who I'm beside to at first, or those 5, 7, 9 judges. So it was always just to be my best. If it was harder, if it was bigger, whichever one. And you versus you.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that before the podcast. You know?
And UvsU comes a little bit later when I started coaching.
Okay.
And I'll tell you how that came about. You may go ahead and do that.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, tell us
whatever you
about
want to do.
Okay. I was texting. I started coaching in 2010, and I was actually made to coach. Meaning, this guy called me. He was a power lifter, and he said, "I want you to do my diet for a bodybuilding contest." Well, I've never coached anybody. Yeah, I know, but I want you to do it. No, man, I don't have the skills to do that. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So this is 2010, you said?
2010.
So you were teaching still? Or?
I was teaching still.
Okay, gotcha.
And I just said, okay. You know, he just said, no, you're doing it. I mean, he was a buddy of mine.
Yeah.
But it was long distance. And so I guess we had to email then. I don't think I had an smartphone. So I did his plan, and he ended up getting second. Had shredded glutes. I got a power lifter shredded. And I was like, well, maybe I can do this.
Was that the first time that you thought maybe this could be a professional
Yeah,
thing?
that was the first time. And I was like, wow, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
So I just started little, small, you know, him, a couple more people. But I had a family and a child at home, and it was hard for me to take a jump. I didn't want to be the non-provider. So that's why I had the state job. That's why I had the school job. It was the security.
Stability,
Man.
Yeah.
And I also, you know, you got to think about how I was raised and taught. You know, I was taught to get a job and you retire at that job.
As were most of us, you know.
Yeah, man. Locked in.
Yeah.
You know, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. You're groomed 9 to 5, 12 years of your life.
Find something secure, get a good paycheck, think about retirement,
Build
save
that
up for
pension
that.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of it. And I didn't know about this other path of purpose. Mm-hmm. Man. And so I just kept, you know, I got to do this job. You know, I can't. Then that was 2010. Then in 2012, 13, I decided to make that jump. And I opened up a nutrition store in White House, Tennessee. It was called Conquering Giants Nutrition. And I had that store for about 4 years. And so that's where the transition comes in.
So
where I finally just had the balls to freaking take the jump.
Yeah, and you probably started picking up more clients and stuff.
I started picking up more clients because then, like I would only take 20 or 25 when I was teaching because that's all I could.
That's what I was about to ask. If you were, so you were you were coaching at the same time. You just hadn't. You were talking about leaving the job as the big jump.
Right,
Gotcha.
right.
Gotcha.
I just was, you know, not knowing each month was very scary for me when I was responsible for a wife and child.
I know how that goes.
Right?
It is. It can be terrifying when you think about it too hard.
Man,
yeah,
definitely.
I didn't want to be the guy, the part of the puzzle that wasn't pulling his weight. And I just always, you know, I'm not blaming them at all whatsoever. I had to do what I had to do.
Of course.
You know. But I made the jump, and I had that store for about 4 years. People could come and find me then. I had a place where people could find me. I went from 25 probably to 50 clients.
Yeah.
And 50 was a good amount.
Of course. I wanted to say
Plus
too,
the store.
not to interrupt, but
No.
it's funny, you know, it's not funny, but you said you made that jump, right? And there was all this fear. And a lot of people never jump because of that fear, but then they get to like retirement and they're like, like, what if I would have made that jump? You know, and like, because you made that jump, that's had an impact on your daughter and her dreams and her capabilities, right?
Yes.
You know, and so the fact of the matter is that like, I mean, had you jumped and failed, at least you jumped and gave it a fucking shot.
Right.
Right. Instead of wondering what if for the rest of your life. But you jumped, you took the shot, and you succeeded since then. And now your daughter sees that and she's like, well, my dad followed his heart, followed his path. And like, I'm capable of whatever I want to be. That's what I always think about teaching my daughter. She's going to get to see it all, you know? So I love that, man. I love people that are willing to take risks and follow passion. So
Yep.
good on you, bro.
And she's now in Memphis in pharmacy school.
Hell yeah.
So
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But
Good. No, you do the.
so when nutrition store in 2012, I had it for about 4 years. My clients, increased up. Then you know how mountains and valleys do. Mm-hmm. You can be at the top of the mountain, then all of a sudden you get kicked back down. Well, I went through a divorce. 25 years, man. My daughter was in high school. That was a rough time. So I shut down the store. I didn't lose it. I just chose to shut it down, and I moved to Vegas. What happens when you get divorced? You move to Vegas.
I guess so.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
That's funny.
I'll back up just a little bit. The reason why I moved to Vegas. A couple of months prior to that, a client had called me and said, "Hey man, can you close down your store next weekend?" It's like, man, I'm the only employee. If I close it down, no money's being made. He said, "I want to take you to the Mr. Olympia contest in Vegas." I was like, man, no, that's too much money. I've only been able to go once or twice, and that's because a supplement company paid my way. He said, "No, man, you changed my life. I want to give back to you." All right. So we went. We got off the plane, getting luggage, standing there. He said, "Hey, look at that." There was a big sign that said, "Clark County," which is Las Vegas, "needs teachers." And I was like, yeah, imagine that. I still had the store, but he knew what I was going through with the divorce. My store was in the same town that I lived in. My wife was a high school teacher in that town for 20 years by the time we got divorced. Mm-hmm. So everybody coming in my store, everybody coming into the gym next door called Just Be Fit, they all knew us and all knew what was going on. So it was I couldn't get away from it. Mm. I needed some peace or some silence. So that and the teaching is why I went out to Vegas, because I closed down my store. I interviewed. I interviewed for a job first, right? Got the job. Then I closed down my store. Then I moved to Vegas. I taught.
You said you just jumped again.
I did.
Yeah.
I got kicked down the mountain. I said, "Gotta go."
Yeah. And you didn't run away. You needed a fresh start.
And I knew. I even told people, I'm like, it's only temporary.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to live there. I just got to go. I got to go. But Ryan, you're closing this and da-da-da. I was only paying $300 rent.
In Vegas or?
In White House.
Oh, gotcha.
My nutrition store was next door to a gym. Mm-hmm. I mean, couldn't ask for a sweeter place.
I wish this was $300 rent.
Yeah, the owner just was like, I was at a different place, and the owner of the gym actually came in my nutrition store and said, "Hey, I need you up beside my gym. What's it going to take?" I was like, "Well, money." He said, "How's $300 sound?"
Okay.
Let me. Can you help me pack up real quick?
So your point was you were pretty set up, though.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like that's a regret of closing it, but then I don't know. I think I needed that.
Yeah. Objectively, just listening to you,
I think I needed to find myself in Vegas, but I didn't find myself. I went to a dark place, man. Not with alcohol and drugs or anything, just dark mental place of grief, regret.
Well, Vegas is the most uplifting place to find yourself. You think someone would go to the mountains, or something like that. Yeah, Vegas, the energy there is just
and the Strip.
Anyways.
I never went to the Strip.
Yeah.
I've been there on vacations, went to the clubs, went and gambled, blah blah blah. But once I moved there, it didn't interest me. Mm-mm. I was also deep into bodybuilding, and some of the bodybuilding gyms and stuff that were out there then, it's not like it is now where you got Flex and all of them out there. But some of the gyms, there were some pro bodybuilders, and I'd never worked out around some pro bodybuilders other than Brandon every once in a while.
Yeah.
But it was definitely an eye-opening experience. Diversity, living somewhere else. I'd never lived anywhere else. No other state, no other city. You know, Hendersonville, Murfreesboro, Nashville, man. Yeah. White House. So it was...
How long were you there?
I was only there, let's see, January to November.
Gotcha.
So 10 months, 11 months, man.
Well, we'll have to take a break in just a second, but I also do want to say before we cut out real quick, is that considering that you had, you know, borderline and alcohol issue before, the fact that you went to that city at that time of your life and that didn't become a problem, I think is something you should be really proud of.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It just did not interest me. I was just, again, I think the weights and the bodybuilding kept me
Saved
from
you.
it. Yeah, man. Going through that divorce before I even moved to Vegas, there was a couple of moments that I was about to go down that road, and bodybuilding saved me. I've been in that gym at 12 o'clock at night because I wanted to go to a bar, but I was loaded up that leg press. I still have a picture of it, and just giving it. Nobody else was in there. I had a key to it. And I just loaded up the leg press and let it out.
So Vegas. Not the best place for you.
Not the best place. Made it 10 months, and then I said, I'm going back. Moved back, and I had to move back in with my parents at like 45. That even put me further down.
Humbling experience.
Yeah, man. But they were just that. I didn't know where my life was going to go. They were just like, just come back. You can live here until you find out what direction. You know, what you're going to do. So I moved back in November, and I actually got a job they live in Christiana here in Murfreesboro, and I got a teaching job in Murfreesboro in the middle of the school year, which doesn't really happen. So to me, it was a sign.
Yeah.
So I taught at Blackman for middle school for about a year, and one morning I'm eating my breakfast, and my parents, my mom looks at me and says, "You're not happy." And I said, well, I mean, look at things around me. I've ruined a 25-year marriage. You know, I don't get to hear my daughter's voice every morning or every day. I'm living with my parents at 45. I mean, not a good space.
Would you be stoked? Yeah.
Yeah.
But moms know, man.
Yeah, and she said, "Why don't you go for the coaching thing?" You know, she's the coaching thing. That's what she calls it, right? She's like, and then my dad spoke up and said, "And you need to turn pro and finish this thing." My parents telling me to take a leap. Remember, those are the ones that told me college,
9 to 5,
and retire.
Yeah.
But they saw my passion over all these years, and I don't know, the aha moment at that table, at that breakfast table. Mom said, "Jump and do the coaching." Dad said, "Finish the dream and get the pro card." I did it in a year.
Nice.
Very nice. That's awesome.
And I've been coaching ever since. And now I'm going to the Masters Olympia. The top of my game, the Super Bowl of my game.
It's fantastic.
That's fucking awesome, man. Hell yeah. And the impact that your parents can have on you, you know, it's crazy. It's awesome to hear that. Like even them, because past generations are a little more hardcore about the whole retire, the play it safe thing.
Yeah,
and even before then, you know, because like following your dreams, that's unheard of, you know, on a massive scale. But they supported that and they wanted that for you. They saw you needed it, and that's really cool.
And at 45.
Yeah.
You know, taking a leap at 45. But then I think, you know, KFC, Colonel Sanders, he was 65.
I was going to say, he was like 8. Oh, yeah, he's 65. That's,
So,
J.K. Rowling didn't have her first, successful, I think Harry Potter was like her first successful book, and she was like, it was way into her life, and she was doing some like very monotonous type job at the time when she wrote it, and like, there's stories like that all over the place.
Yeah, man.
It's cool. I mean, and the thing is that the stories, like, these These people, yes, everybody's journey is unique, but they're just people too.
On the bodybuilding side, the mountains and valleys, I have been in the top 5 20 times at pro qualifying events.
Just shy every time.
And I don't know how many second and thirds. I don't want to count. Over 5 weight classes. So talk about a journey. You know, I started at 144 and now I'm in shape at 205. I've been to 230 with abs. It's been nothing but a journey with my own purpose. I don't know. Purpose. I think that's just the word, man. Purpose.
Just giving you purpose.
I got to have purpose.
Yeah.
It's got to be purpose. To do cardio, I got to have a purpose.
Mm-hmm. And you had that patience and you were willing to see it out.
Grind.
And just keep going. You know, we talked about this before the podcast. You get a lot of younger cats that get into bodybuilding, their expectation to go pro within a couple years. And it's like,
wait.
And you have no control. Like you said, you talked about earlier, and like you don't have control over the lighting or like where you're set on the stage. You know, you don't have control over that. And you definitely don't have control over what these fucking judges are going to decide.
Absolutely not. And I think the iPhone and the microwave, that's who I blame. Because it's now. Everything's now. The internet's now. Amazon's now. So they want the pro card now. Well, I'm not the person to ask for that. 20 times over 20 something years. Yeah. You know, my first contest, I was at 27. So what is that? 23 years competing? 23, 27, that's 50. Yeah. Mr. Algebra.
That's wild, man.
Mr. Algebra.
That's putting in some time, dude. I love that commitment though.
That's 6 meals a day, a gallon of water for 23 years straight.
Jesus.
There's only been 6 weeks out of 27 years that I haven't trained.
Oh.
Wow.
And that's not for me to get y'all to say wow or impress. I even step back and look at that and go, I didn't realize it until I say it.
Yeah. That was just your life.
Yeah. That's just who I am, man.
But it was the discipline too, man. And that's something that like a lot of people lack is just discipline. And when it comes to staying committed to something, right? And and that was ingrained in who you were. So you don't think about it. Like now you look back like, holy shit, that's what I did every day for fucking 20 something years.
Yeah, man.
But you had discipline and it's just plain and simple, right? And it all kind of boils down to that.
And getting on stage in a thong is not my thing, honestly. It's just to show the finished product. My thing is the journey. My thing is the 16 weeks of diet, 12 weeks of diet, whatever it may be. The whole process to get to that stage.
Yeah.
That's my game. That's what I love.
Yeah.
One thing I think is super fascinating about bodybuilding, and obviously with what you're talking about, you would have a lot of context to this, but is like how much, how defeated and how badly people feel whenever they do bodybuilding that don't win. And like in your case, if you're going for pro and you come up a little bit short, et cetera. But it's like if you look at you from a 30,000 foot perspective, it's like, dude, you're jacked. You look awesome. You just finished top 5 at a bodybuilding show. Like, it's just a really interesting thing with bodybuilding. Like that's the case. I was talking to Danny the other day about her show, and somebody was saying that she was like the only person. Danny was one of my other clients competed for the first time like last year, and somebody made a comment that she looked like the only person there that was happy coming off the stage, and it's weird. And we talked to somebody else about this as well, but it's weird because it's like you're in your peak physical, you look great, you feel great, you're strong, you're big, you're shredded, and you go out there and do something that's really awesome, that took a lot of courage to do. Like, you should really be feeling super, super proud. And because of, lat definition, you go home super upset after all the work you put in. It's just a very weird thing with bodybuilding.
The UvsU, I'll touch on that. I was texting a client one day, and you know how you abbreviate everything? Instead of saying wow you versus wow you, I shut it down and went UvsU, and I erased it. I said I probably need to keep that. Then I opened up my store, and then I started the clothing line. And then a lot of people know me by UvsU now. But the UvsU, even if you're competitor or not, be the best you can be. Be the best you can be. If you are the best that you can be before you step on that stage, you've already won, no matter what judges give you what number.
Yeah.
You couldn't do anything else. What could you have done more? If you did everything 100% and you are at the best shape of your life and you get fifth or last, well, you couldn't have done anything else. Just other people showed up better, man. But you already won because you're in the best. You're in the best shape of your life. What you could do.
True nobility is being superior to your former self.
I mean,
I like that phrase.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's good. And Jesse's my woman has Lydia, Jesse. They've reminded me several times. I'm like, oh, I get frustrated at times. I'm like, I'm doing everything I fucking can. I need to reap some reward for all my efforts, like, when's this going to happen? I get impatient. And it's stressful, man. Like I said, when you're providing for a family and everything, it's just part of it. And then, but Jesse is just like, but are you doing the best you can? I'm like, always. He's like, then just embrace that, dude. Like, focus on that. You're doing the best you can, and it's going to work out.
Yeah, man.
And I'm like, and it calms me. I'm like, you're right, dude. I sit there and question, like, what could I have done better? What can I, and there's always little things you could maybe do better, but like trying to pick that apart when it's already behind you is useless. You just keep going forward and doing your best every day. And, eventually over time, it'll work out. So,
I think if I was you, if I got frustrated, I'd walk outside, out on the sidewalk, turn around and walk through those doors again.
Yeah.
And look around.
That's cool. Haven't thought about that.
I mean, that wall's badass, man.
It's forest for the trees, right? Like sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees.
I appreciate that. I'll.
It's a good idea.
You got a good spot here, man.
That's a good practice.
It's good.
I know. I got a lot to be grateful for. That's for damn sure. But it's easy to get in your head.
Oh no, I get it, man. That's why I said it back to you.
Well, that's kind of what I'm talking about with the bodybuilding thing. It's like you like, damn it, I got third, and it's like, hold on a second, let's back up. Look at you. Look how good you look. Look what you've done for the last, few months. Look at how, how mentally clear you are because you're eating right. And you're, look at you. You there's nothing to be ashamed about or upset about at all,
Well, what I usually say to my client is, what'd you look like last year? Mm-hmm. Are you better? Are you bigger or leaner? Yeah.
Okay.
What could you have done?
Okie doke.
What could you go backwards?
Yeah. And also, you didn't go backwards, so.
There's a lot of politics with bodybuilding, right, too?
Used to be. I don't see it so much anymore. When the magazines, when Flex and Muscular Development and all that was going on, there was a lot of ad money, a lot of sponsorship money. And when the magazines went, a lot of those sponsorships went, too.
That's what Brandon said, word for word.
Yep.
Brandon said that.
Oh yeah, he said
word for word.
He spoke on how
because he used to be big sponsor. He used to have.
He basically said the internet was a problem for him because he was so big in the magazine era that he didn't really know how to transition into Instagram.
Yeah, that was a struggle for him, man. But I mean,
which is a really interesting thing to think about. Like that, I don't know. He's in that position. He's like, oh well, I'm like world famous, but I'm kind of world famous on a dying platform.
The companies found out that people are so wanting to be sponsored that they'll do it for a pre-workout a month. A free pre-workout a month.
Yeah.
And they and influencers, no offense, it is what it is. It's this time of day. But people that don't even compete but have 1 million followers, well, they're going to go for the more visual 1 million followers. So I think, but in saying that, there is avenues out there in your hand for a bodybuilder to make money. Oh, yeah. I coach. Oh, yeah. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Now, if a company presents themselves to me, let's talk. But again, I'm not doing it for a pre-workout a month.
Right.
You got to force yourself out of your comfort zone and get creative.
Right.
And that's the whole thing.
Right.
Even there's shit I don't like to do on social media. I don't like responding to comments all the time. It gives me anxiety a little bit. I'd much rather post and ghost, but that's an important aspect, right? So sometimes it maybe takes me a couple days to go back and be like, oh, I need to get back to these comments. But,
filming
just
in general,
shit like that. Like, it's even very simple. But
like, you used to be super shy on camera,
Yeah.
Now you're like,
See,
you love doing the podcast now.
Used to bodybuilders, especially when Brandon first started and turned pro, used to you could get that sponsorship deal from the magazines or a supplement company, and all you had to be was Ryan Walters or Brandon Curry. You had to be in shape twice a year, and that was it. You got a check in the mail every month, and you just did the photo shoots twice a year. That was it.
Oh, yeah.
And you got paid.
Sweet deal.
Big time pay.
Yeah.
But as soon as those magazines and all that ad money went away, it's,
and to keep in mind, just to throw this in there, the ad money just moved.
Yeah, there you go.
Know what I mean? And
it moved from the physical to the virtual,
it went
right?
somewhere else, right?
Yeah,
and like the content game is the attention game.
Yeah.
And every time there's a new platform, or every time there's a platform change, every time there's a new feature on this or feature on that, it's like it's the same game, just being played different ways.
I guess maybe.
But that's how it was for so long.
Yes, and bodybuilders got used to that.
Yes.
And maybe got a little lazy.
Also that. I was going to say. Also a little entitled.
Yeah.
Like,
you didn't have to take a picture of everything you did and post and do video, YouTube and all that. You just had to be Brandon Curry, Mr. Olympia.
In every, like, whenever things happen like that, right? It's like the legacy media right now, news and that kind of stuff. This is your media now.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. TV channels. That's why only live sports is like the only thing that does well on TV now, because you have all of this. And I don't know where I was going with that.
It's all good. We'll get back to it. But I do want to say, what are we looking at on time? I'm just curious.
We got about 10 minutes.
Okay, so... Well, I'd like to touch more on some of these things.
Yeah. I remember what it was. People in a dying platform like that. You're gonna have the people that adapt or die.
Yes.
Right. And the people that die, they usually go out kicking and screaming. So like with the bodybuilding thing, it's like, I'm sure that given the way that it probably was a big shock to them that it was the way that it is now. But the people that now have all the sponsors are the people that didn't complain about it and just changed.
Yeah.
And instead of being stubborn, being like, well, I shouldn't have to do that. It's like, well, okay, don't get the sponsors in.
Yeah, like it. That's what it is.
You're seeing a lot, though. The competitive contests, sometimes they seem to be getting watered down because you don't make your money competing.
Right. So you don't get as much of a reward from it. Yeah.
So if you can blow up your Instagram game, some of them even go, see how I'm saying some of them? Like I'm not one. I'm still not used to it. To be the pro, but some of us just go, okay, I'm just going to work the Instagram game. Mm-hmm. And not get on stage.
And they succeed with it.
Right.
And they still build a crazy physique and showcase what they got. I mean, it's crazy times. And the thing is like, before we get to what I was going to ask you, even with the podcast, right? Like over the next year, over the next several years, but even over the next year, like we're going to have to change little things here and there just to kind of keep up with the game, because like, everything's just changing faster. It's just evolving faster. So it's like either fucking keep up, and it's crazy because you got to create your own identity and be unique too, but you also got to keep up with the times, right? So it's like trying to learn how to traverse it. I mean, it's only going to make you better, but you got to keep up or you're going to be left behind. Or trailblaze. Figure out a way to trailblaze and create, and
there
then,
you go.
Get people to fucking be like, damn, I like what they're doing.
There you go.
But either way, like, I'd love for things to just kind of be like, all right, we got this kind of figured out. Let's do this.
Good. We're here.
Roll with this for good. But I know that like shit's going to change. Okay, what do we do to take it to that level and, thrive there in that space? So, and you just got to be ready for the unknown, man. That being said, what I want to get to, we're limited on time. So you got the Olympia coming up in 7 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And where's it at?
It is in Romania.
So tell us about like, mentally, like, just how you're feeling going into that and, I'm
7.5 weeks out from the biggest stage of my life. that any aspiring bodybuilder with the Olympia name in it would want to grace. I feel.
Yeah.
That's the top of the top. And I'm not putting myself on a mountain by any means. I'm just explaining the Olympia.
It's
like
the Super Bowl.
the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now, I am in the Masters Olympia, so it's not the Olympia, but it still has the Olympia name. And to me, man, it's just the biggest stage of my life. I mean, it's the biggest. I just never dreamed I would grace this stage. I just didn't see myself that.
Oh yeah.
And I'm 7 weeks out. It hasn't. I mean, I'm dieting. I've lost some. I'm 215, 214. I will go down to probably 200, 203. I don't really know until I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
Somewhere down there. I've done it for so long. I'm not sure there is a deep. 4 weeks out, there's a deep grind. Mm-hmm. 4 weeks out, there's a deep. But until then, I'm pretty much used to everything.
Yeah.
At this point, but at 4 weeks out, things change real fast. The body fat should be pretty low. It's not that easy to function with your body fat that low, just physically wise.
Yeah.
Just getting out of the chair sometimes to go use the restroom is a chore.
It's not something you want to maintain.
No,
for sure.
then this is something that I'm trying to achieve for a moment, not for a week, not for a month. This is a look that I'm trying to achieve for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
It's like
10 minutes.
It's like going to the Olympics for you.
Well, have you
know,
ever heard
like,
about
You're
Usain
preparing
Bolt?
for what seconds?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, but have you ever heard? I can't remember the exact thing. I'm gonna butcher it, but long story short, it was like Usain Bolt. His entire running career was like less than a minute long.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So he trained for years
Yeah,
and
it's
years
just
and
like
years
that,
and
man.
years for a 10-second,
That's nuts.
for like a 9-second run.
And I'm not a dancer. I'm not a performer. So the routine and the music and in the thong, I do it because it's part of it, right?
Right.
But that's really not my thing.
I'm more of a.
Now-
I'm just the thongs. I just wear one
He
around my
wears that on a
house.
daily basis.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah.
Now, I like what they call pre-judging, which is in the morning, which is most of the judging.
Yeah.
Now, I like that because I'm battling, or I feel like I'm battling.
Yeah.
It's not just me on stage.
Yeah.
It's a competition.
I don't like just me being on stage.
Yeah.
I don't like that center. I like people up there with me, and I like to battle. But the nighttime thing is not my.
Battling it out.
Yeah.
And then you'll be in Romania.
So I'll be in Romania August 26th at the Masters Olympia. It's a 15-hour, I think it's a 15-hour flight or 15 hours worth of flights. We go from here to Chicago, and then from Chicago to Germany, and then from Germany to Romania.
Nice.
I've never been to, I think Ukraine is next door. So that's not, I'm not quite sure about that.
Yeah, that's probably not a good time to be over there.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So I constantly think I got 7.5 weeks. Are they going to close something?
Yeah.
Am I not going to make it?
Yeah. Get that out of your head.
I know, man.
Yeah.
Get that out of your, just
I
stay
know.
focused.
Yeah.
You can't have control over that shit.
So
True.
overall, leading up to this, do you feel like you're enjoying the process? Do you feel like you're
Oh, yeah.
appreciating the moment?
Well, almost. There's a little bit of fear because I'm even looking afterwards. Like, what do I do after that? That's the top of the game. I'm 50. Do I continue? What's going to happen?
Well, you've already started that legacy a little bit by coaching others.
Yeah, man.
Get somebody else on that stage.
And I love, man, just like my transformation people. When somebody comes, and y'all know this, when somebody comes to you on 4 different medications, and then in 2 months they're on 1, yeah, that's a game winner. You can't put a price on that.
Yeah.
You got 5 minutes, Joe.
Got 5 minutes?
5 minutes.
Do they still handle the checks at the, if you win like the Olympia, they hand you a big check.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just pictured the Masters, like they walk up and it says Social Security Administration, like social. It's just a big ass Social Security
Sponsored
check.
by ARP. Here's a check sponsored by ARP.
Sweet.
He's like, hey, look, yeah.
Discount.
Dude, I would have
Instead
never
of a
known
trophy, they
this.
just hand you like a golden cane.
Yeah.
Like, here
That
you
would be
go.
cool. I'd take that.
Hell yeah.
I'd take
The
that.
thing is we can give you a hard time because you're ripped way more than either of us. So.
No, man, I got a joke. But no, dude, I think that's really cool, man. I mean, I know it's probably easy to think about what's after, but like just focus on the goal and then just see what's after. At the end of the day, I mean, you got your daughter progressing in life. I mean,
Absolutely,
she's in pharmacy
man.
school. You
Pharmacy
get to watch
school.
her grow. You get to
Taylor, shout
kind
out.
of you get to kind of sit back. I mean, you're at an age where you get to sit back more and just like watch some of these other things, and then like bring your knowledge and your experience to others and see them thrive and maybe get to that stage one day. And I think that's really cool. So,
Taylor, I'm very proud of you.
Taylor, watch
That's
this.
the daughter.
Yes.
Taylor, you
We're
better
all
watch it
very
the way
proud
through.
of you, Taylor.
We're all very, very proud of you.
Be sure that you and all your friends subscribe to this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Your dad said so.
Yeah. That's so funny.
But anything else you got, man? Anything you want to leave us with?
Never give up.
Never give up.
I like it. A little callback to the first
Never
bit
give
of
up, man. Just never give up.
Hell yeah, bro.
It's just, life is mountains and valleys.
Yeah.
Climb.
Hell yeah. And you know what's cool? Taylor, maybe one day she'll have kids and they'll have kids. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to make that decision for her. But I'm just saying, down the road, when you're gone, people are going to be able to watch this and learn about you and your
Absolutely.
journey and your life.
Absolutely,
and
man.
I'm stoked that
I
we can
appreciate
get
the
that.
opportunity, guys.
Yeah,
I really
man.
appreciate that.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on, man, and enjoying this with us. It was a pleasure having you today. I'm stoked to see what happens, man. So I'm going to be checking it out, and you're going to crush it, man.
Okay.
And you're just going to get up there. I know
I appreciate it.
You're going to get up there and do your damn best because that's what you've always done, bro.
You versus you. Here I
Yes,
go.
sir.
Hell
Here
yeah.
I go.
I love it. Well, then on that, we will close out. Thank you for coming. Until next time.
Sir. That's how you do a podcast.
Word up.
Hey. That was awesome. That went very well.